energy by 2040.
On matters financial protection, consumers of financial services are being urged to exercise increased caution when applying for loans, whether from formal banks or informal money lending institutions. This appeal was made during the launch of the Nshuti Financial Consumer Advisory Center, a new initiative aimed at strengthening consumer protection and financial literacy in the country.
Many users of financial services in Uganda report having experienced a grievance. This cuts across the formal and informal sectors.
I've been a borrower and I have my mother bank. I call it my mother bank. But the way they have harassed me, I ran away to another bank to get rescue after requesting for top up. They refused.
Very important financial institutions, I don't know whether supervised by Bank of Uganda, 80% of the agreements they have koratobaga nti ntunze ani agenda okukikolako.
Despite widespread concern, there remains a critical question: how did we get here?
Some of the problems come from a sense of desperation. When someone wants money, they throw caution to the wind. Number one. Number two, they tend to think that the person lending them money is their friend. And so the very start of what we're supposed to do is to say, when you're borrowing money, the person is your friend when he's giving you money. When he comes for that money, the story will be different.
You are borrowing, you should be there to read these things carefully. And if you are borrowing and you shouldn't sign a sales agreement, the reality is different from that. And if you ask any borrower, however sophisticated they are, and they are desperate for money, the only thing they ask is, where should I sign? That is true. And a lot of people have fallen into this pitfall because they say, where should I sign? They want the money. And a lot of people go to money lenders because it's simple. You don't have to walk there. I don't know how many times that lady walked to a financial institution. The money lender will say within 24 hours you receive your money. And it could be even one hour. You bring the title and they give you the money. You have an urgent problem, you take. Yes, you take. But the consequences are dire.
We have a common saying that necessity is the mother of invention. So for a long time, you have all these financial institutions, lenders, etc. But in the middle there lies a challenge of who protects the borrower.
The launch of Nshuti Financial Consumer Advisory Center is therefore seen as a milestone in strengthening financial inclusion and consumer protection.
Our mission in 3 summarized statements. 1, to empower every Ugandan to make informed financial decisions. Out of every 100 people we interviewed, 68% of Ugandans had never read the letters they signed when they borrowed money. So congratulations on that. I was being sarcastic, but anyway, that's what we found.
Remember that when it comes to financial service providers don't sell you loans or insurance. They sell you trust. And the consumers of financial services don't just buy trust. They are hoping that this is the service provider is going to stand with them throughout their journey towards financial independence.
Nshuti's financial ombudsman services are designed to serve as a trusted, impartial mechanism through which financial consumers can report, resolve, and learn from financial disputes.
The Uganda National Oil Company has successfully stored and delivered bulk petroleum products to the Ugandan market since assuming its role as the sole importer of fuel through the Mombasa port a year ago. We have a detailed report. It's just over a year since Uganda National Oil Company took on the sole mandate to import all petroleum products for the country via the port of Mombasa in Kenya. Stakeholders in the importation chain, including the Kenya Pipeline Company and the international supplier Vitol, report positive progress so far.
There is no issue with any of the OMCs in regard to how we've been operating with them. There are no complaints on our side. I think most of the issues that were coming up were KRA integration, which is not a situation on end, and mainly, like I said, operational issues. So ultimately, over this 1 year, I think it has been a very successful engagement with the OMCs. I am yet to get any operational issue which is out of line with what has just been mentioned here. You know, because as they have mentioned, it's all about fairness for all of the OMCs, whether you're big or small, which was never the case before. And I think in all fairness, the team and how they manage supply and support the OMCs has been perfect for now.
Under this government-to-government arrangement, UNOC is fully responsible for importing Uganda's petroleum needs using Kenya's pipeline infrastructure, marine vessels and fuel trucks to transport the products to Uganda's oil marketing companies.
This is pretty much the end point of the Kenya pipeline that has transported all this petroleum product, be it diesel, kerosene, petrol, all the way from Mombasa, where we started, to this point. And from this point, it now gets out of the pipeline into what you see in the background, the trucks. These trucks are destined for Uganda and the other countries. But most important of all, for a Ugandan consumer, this is where the story starts now from the trucks. The trucks take it on from here all the way to your petrol stations around the country into your car or boda.
Around with some trucks which are loaded, waiting for exit. Fortunately, there is no single truck that has been loaded for Uganda and is easier because the truck clearance process for Uganda is very smooth, very efficient. In less than 1 hour, trucks taking fuel to Uganda will load and exit the facility. That's a plus. It is one area we are pursuing with other destinations to ensure that they borrow a leaf from Uganda. We want to see them automate so that every truck that loads in the facility exits in 1 hour. I think it's good to commend URA at Uganda for putting in place systems which ensure efficient clearance of trucks destined to Uganda.
First of all, the beautiful thing about Eldoret is that it's not very far off from the border, which means that we can actually have many trucks coming in and doing a good turnaround time. We've just been told about how URA, the Uganda Revenue Authority, has super improved their systems to allow for trucks to be cleared within 30 minutes. That's amazing, which means that within a week you can have, like you've had, trucks coming in 3 to 4 times. So you have that quick turnaround time to make sure that we don't have stockouts. But more importantly, we have trucks that are being serviced all through the week. So it's a good thing for anyone who is definitely consuming this product, but also a great story when it comes to the security of stocks within the country.
Current estimates show that Uganda consumes over 230 million litres of petroleum products each month, and recent figures from the KPC indicate this number is steadily rising. The growing demand, especially across the northern corridor, has prompted capacity upgrades and improved efficiency within the supply chain.
So at this point, I really want to thank UNOC for this good idea of onboarding the media as a key stakeholder in their business. One, because that will ensure that the information that gets to the consumer is accurate, correct? In terms of the effort that the different governments are putting in place to address possibly any shortages that they could be filling out there. And then number two, for them to get an assurance that the product that they are getting or whatever product they are using complies to specifications, and therefore they are protected from that end. So we will continue partnering as KPC and UNOC to make sure that the consumers in both countries get their due right.
We say we learn from each other, we'll keep improving, and we keep collaborating. We are happy for the business that you have given us so far, and we will continue working together.
However, challenges remain. A major bottleneck persists in the transportation of products like petrol, diesel and Jet A1 from the central reservoirs to Uganda, mainly at the congested Malaba one-stop border post. Truck drivers raise concerns over long queues which affect their turnaround times and delay deliveries.
So here when you come, you loading, you make sure your truck is empty, no water inside. You come and put there, you put your wheel chock, you cut off your battery, you put a fire extinguisher, and then you put not loading now, and then you start loading now. After loading now, you take the truck to where we are waiting, the papers we are supposed to be taken there. And then after papers there, we proceed now to Kampala now, to Busia, Malaba.
Line ye Malaba, katifenga abatanka, tubeera wamu nate n'abantu ba container. Sometimes abantu ba container ayinza okukolobola ku moloka ya tanka ng'ey'amafuta kati ngenda kutika super kiyinza okubeera dangerous kuki kuba in case senga nti agikolobodde n'ejjako any leakage kibeera dangerous.
Despite these hurdles, the shift to direct importation is expected to yield long-term benefits for Uganda, stabilizing pump prices and protecting the market from fuel supply shocks.
It's been 1 year where we have fully committed to Ugandans, to number one, take care of, managing the fuel prices within the country, but most important of all, managing the fuel stocks in the country. And I think this 1 year has massively demonstrated that we can do this. With the fuel storage capacity that we are constantly or going to be constantly increasing in the country, we're going to be seeing even a more stable story. But also interestingly is the fact that this product will now be easily accessible to the country or people within the country or the country's context. So again, it's from this point that the story begins, but more importantly, over the next few years, when we see the Kampala storage terminal, which will bring in bring in a capacity of more than 300 million liters of fuel capacity storage, that will also enhance the product security within the country and of course stabilize the prices that people are paying for this product overall.
UNOC's exclusive import mandate marks a strategic shift in the country's fuel management, with noticeable improvement in supply reliability and national energy security. In my background is the loading bay. What is happening here is that fuel that has been transported all the way from Mombasa through the pump stations in Nairobi is finally being loaded onto trucks for onward transport to countries such as Uganda and the hinterland. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business in Eldoret City, Western Kenya. This week, Bank of Uganda engaged Uganda's media fraternity in a sensitization drive on the Petroleum Revenue Investment Reserve. PRIR is a key savings and investment vehicle for the country's future oil revenues. Salota Muge has the details.
As the government's banker, the Bank of Uganda manages all financial transactions within the petroleum industry. The goal is to ensure every shilling earned from oil is properly tracked, accounted for and invested wisely.
We have been at this for quite a while. We've been involved with government. Bank of Uganda has taken steps to make sure that there is a framework for managing revenue, petroleum revenue that has been saved for a couple of years. There are systems in place, there are structures in place. And the assurance, first of all, that we can give you today is that the bank is very well placed to manage this.
Uganda is in a critical window to establish robust oil revenue management systems ahead of the 2026 oil production timeframe. Public education and media collaboration to promote transparency and accountability is seen as essential.
Our disclosure and transparency is even stipulated in the Public Finance Management Act. What we are supposed to do and when. There are supposed to be frequent reports every month to the minister, and these should even be published.
We really want to communicate. That is what we're doing for this financial year before oil comes. So we really want to communicate to everyone to know that oil is coming. Bank of Uganda is going to try our best to be transparent and accountable and to make sure that every Ugandan knows that the oil is for them, not just for specific Ugandans.
To safeguard our oil wealth, Bank of Uganda will implement strategic risk management tools to shield the economy from market volatility and future economic shocks.
When you talk to the ordinary person who is looking at this oil, they are looking at very many things. The expectations are high, everybody's excited, but also there is a lot of mistrust. They are not sure whether this oil actually is going to come and benefit them.
We need to have a critical argument or critical, should I say, discussion regarding the Sovereign Wealth Fund and how it will impact on the quality of life.
At peak production, estimated at 230,000 barrels per day, Uganda could earn around $5.9 billion annually from oil exports. Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
Women are being encouraged to venture into fields that have traditionally been dominated by men. This call to action was made by Engineer Irene Batebe, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, during the 8th Women Engineers Forum. Let's have a look. Engineer Irene Batebe emphasized the fundamental role women in Africa are playing in shaping the continent's transformation. With more support and belief in their abilities, they will shatter the glass ceiling, she stated.
So despite the myriad of challenges, the continent also presents significant opportunities. And by 2030, our population as Africa will reach 1.7 billion people with a growing demand for sustainable solutions. So women engineers with resilience and ethical leadership are uniquely positioned to deliver these solutions. That is you and I. Inclusive engineering, therefore, means beyond just including the women, means designing solutions that work for everyone, rural farmers, urban youth, and future generations. And women are proving that they are not just part of this work, they are leading it with empathy.
These remarks were delivered at the 8th African Engineers Forum in Kampala under the theme Inclusive Engineering, Women Leading Innovation for Africa's Sustainable Future. The forum called upon women to strive for excellence and break barriers in fields that have not always welcomed them.
And we as the government, and therefore the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, we are deeply committed, that is in Uganda, to ensure gender inclusion as part of our strategy. We are scaling up opportunities for women to enter technical fields, but also integrating gender-responsive approaches across our different projects. Today, I want to leave us with 3 key ideas that are meant to catalyze women as solution givers to the challenges that we face. Number 1, we must ensure that diverse perspectives are incorporated in our drive for innovation.
The event brought together engineers, students, leaders, and visionaries who pledged to embody empathy, resilience, and ethical principles in their leadership.
When women rise, communities thrive. We have heard it this morning. And I think as women, we need to be intentional, we need to organize ourselves, we need to hold hands, and we need to collectively move together towards something I would like to call execution diligence. Execution diligence is the thinking, the behavior, the capabilities, the methods that are used to ensure the effective design, implementation, and development of a response to our problems by those that are responsible. This is all of us here. Let us take that with us. Let us start implementing, executing with diligence.
But for me, my emphasis is that how do we encourage more women to come into STEM? How do we encourage more women to become engineers? I think we need to tell the story. So many beautiful stories have been told here today, but who knows about these stories? That is why people like me are here.
Analysts assert that the inclusion of women in engineering is not merely optional but foundational. Innovations are essential for Africa's sustainable future and must be inclusive by design and driven by women who understand the challenges and opportunities facing the continent. On Matters Tech, Large language models like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini are predominantly English-based. That's a problem for millions of people in Africa for whom English is not a primary language. African tech experts are addressing this gap by developing the continent's largest language library, empowering African voices in the global tech landscape. We have more from CGTN.
Reading a book in a language you don't fully understand can be daunting. And that's how millions of Africans feel trying to use generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot.
There is this risk that if technical systems don't speak in your language, you are completely shut out. And this then has implications even for the development of communities, not just African, it could be Latin American, it could be Asian, who also have these shared histories of growth of their languages or development being stopped because of colonialism and conquest between those areas.
To change that, academics across South Africa, Kenya and Nigeria are creating African Next Voices, the continent's largest language database. 9,000 hours of everyday speech in 18 dialects have already been recorded, paving the way for apps that go far beyond English, Chinese or European languages.
What we're hoping with not just this project, but there's many other projects that have been going on for the last 8 years or so in building more and more resources for African languages, is that these then become foundations that other innovators then build on and give access to more and more people to different types of services.
Ambani Africa develops mother tongue learning programs in languages such as isiZulu and isiXhosa. Creating content without a comprehensive digital record was a major hurdle.
It was very hard at the beginning because a lot of languages don't have certain words. So you can translate from English to Zulu, but you might lose the essence. We began Ambani as a whole using translators and voice-over artists. So we basically did things a lot more manually than how we kind of developed where we are now.
The new database aims to bridge that gap and shape the future of innovation in African languages.
I think definitely having that bank of all the different kind of languages, because we don't want to just stop here. We want to go across Africa. I mean, on the Kids app already, we've got a bit of Shona, a bit of Yoruba. We want to transcend all the way up into Africa to the tip and be able to cater for all universities in the country, in the world.
Beyond education, native language apps and chatbots are making it easier to connect, communicate and do business. It's not all about convenience, but also about preserving culture, protecting identity, unlocking opportunity and giving Africans a voice in the future of global tech. Julie Shire, CGTN, Cape Town.
What I would want to talk to the public and the general public and government to take this institution of network marketing as another additional income, job generating income. When we look at Asia, they have taken it to another level, and Philippines, this kind of industry, this kind of work, what we call network marketing, it is being taught in schools and universities. Two, we have a challenge here that it has not even been recognized, yet it has given a lot of income and jobs to the young people, even those who are not young. We need to be regulated. We need to sit as a body and see that we can be recognized in government as like other governments. Then we can have an article that regulates us, because we have an impact economically that we put on the ground.
In May 2022, Roofings Group Uganda hosted the Tanzanian President, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu, at their plant in Namamve. The visit aimed at strengthening trade ties with Uganda and encouraging Uganda's private sector to tap into the business opportunities between the two countries. Check this out in our Sounds of Business. We sign off with some words of wisdom. If you ever wish to feel stronger in your skin and command more respect without saying a word, it's less about the raw power and more about consistent habits that change how you're perceived. Otherwise, thank you for being a loyal audience. Let's hook up next week, same time, same place. Cheers.